overdue. Long time this a overdue. Make me ball out. Long time this a overdue. Long time this a overdue.
Just about 8 minutes after. Did I say 8 minutes? My clock is frozen. It's about 2 minutes after 11 o'clock in St. Lucia and the rest of the Eastern Caribbean. It's now time for Man versus Woman, and man's in the house, man's ready to go.
And woman too.
Wow, woman really ready this morning, but and woman too. How are you so loud there? Let's try that again. Let's try that again, just for your sake, alright? Man's in the building and ready to go.
And woman too, and I think you're trying to. All right, let's go.
Sabotage you?
Let's go.
I have no need to sabotage.
Let's
you.
go.
No need.
Don't start.
I would never sabotage. I would never sabotage a woman. I would never sabotage a woman, no matter what it is that she's doing. No matter how much competition she's bringing to me. Yeah.
I feel
As
like,
a matter of fact,
I feel like the competition thing, you know.
Competition is
yeah,
good. Good morning to you, Susie Q.
Morning, asylum.
How was your weekend?
I worked all weekend.
If you had to think,
I worked
like
all
how
weekend.
hard of a question could it be? It was just yesterday.
I worked all weekend.
What did you do?
I was at work.
Doing
all
what?
Weekend.
What do you do on the weekend when you work?
All right, so if we have production and they have to go out in the field, I have to go with them. Right.
You have to go with them, yeah.
Yes, and yesterday was Creole Day, as you know. So we were covering Creole Day, so I was out for the whole day with the team.
Right.
Boy, I fell asleep so many times on that car.
Did you eat?
Did I eat? No, I
Don't
hardly
tell
ate.
me you didn't.
Let me tell you what happened.
I'm finding that hard to believe.
In the morning, I ate bakes and saltfish and juice.
Where'd you get that?
In Babunu. Yes, local juice. So I had bakes and saltfish.
Can you remember who was it? Somebody specific that you got the bakes and saltfish from, or?
I didn't get her name. But because I'm not really familiar with the place,
Right.
I wouldn't be able to tell you exactly where, you know. But it was nice. She was a nice lady. So we got bakes and saltfish. Yes, the bakes and saltfish was excellent.
That is good. Right. That is good.
And we promised her that we'd come back next year just because of her bakes and saltfish. And, you know, Vitus was giving her point on some stuff that she needs to do for
bakes and saltfish caught you that you promised to come back next year?
Yes, man.
Wow.
Yes, it was good. It was that good. Then that was it. Huh? No lie. So for the whole day, I had nothing to eat. I was just thirsty for the whole day. I was just drinking.
It was hot, so I mean,
not alcohol though, because you know alcohol is not for me.
I saw you drank a glass of wine once.
Leave me alone.
Yes, St. Lucia, she can't drink.
I'm not even going to.
Let
me continue. So, we went to this place in Babunu, this Creole Heritage Park place that they were having, you know, their Creole Day and so on. Then after we covered that, we were on our way to View Fort. We stopped a few places. The Badlin was one of the places that we stopped. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it correctly, because the last time I pronounced the name of that place, I got a whole lot of bashing on social media to stop spoiling up the people's names of their places in the country. But I'm getting there. As I tell them yesterday on Creole Day, I don't know the Creole language that well, but I'm making use of the little that I know.
Okay,
and
what do you know?
Okay, well, yesterday on air, I said, let me see if I can remember what I said. Bonne fête, jeune Creole, tout monde, Saint Lucie.
Oh.
All right. yes. And I know a few little other things, but
yeah.
So we stopped in the Badlin, and there was this woman. Boy, that was a real deal Creole. on our trip yesterday, that place was the real authentic Creole kind of thing.
For you, the experience for you was authentic.
No, I'm talking about authentic, meaning I didn't see it anywhere else.
Okay.
Right? She had a real, the woman was dressed Creole. She, the food she was preparing, the utensils, the stove, everything Creole. She had farine, that's what they call it. And there's this other thing that they use the arrowroot to make. She had that. She had fruits, and the lady was just Creole.
She was ready.
She was ready. And then from there, we stopped in Dennery at Cynthia's place. Cynthia had a lot of Creole dishes, and she was using wood fire. Right, but she's still using the modern pots and stuff like that. But her food was real Creole, and her way of cooking it was Creole. You understand? Now, when we went to Viewfort was like, you'd go to a party and they have the things laid out there to serve and stuff like that. Right. You didn't see the Creole pots, you didn't see the Creole way of cooking, the Creole way of doing things. You understand? But there was this one individual that stood out in Viewfort. He had 2 drums that he used as ovens. Right. So what it would basically be 4, because he joined 2 of them. To make 1 oven. So the top part had the shelves and everything, and then he would put the wood under the bottom and the bread were there, and he showed us how it was done from one level to the next. So it had 7 shelves, right? So he said when the bread is finished by the level that it goes, because it has to go through all 7 levels. So when it gets to the top shelf, it's done. So he decided to give us bread and cheese. Well, we said we wanted cheese. Right. And that bread was good.
Fresh out of the oven.
Yes, man. It's one of the best bread.
It sounded like you ate more than you did anything else.
No. And funny enough, as nice as it was, I could only eat half of the bread because it's not like it was very small. Right. Yeah. So that was basically already. We did a lot some interviews. We covered the Creole Day. Yeah. So that was basically it for me for the weekend. I just worked.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. It's good.
But I had fun working though.
For me, like I said earlier, I went into Asu Canal, Mama Real's place. I was there for a few hours, and I went up to Beauséjour.
Oh, you went to Beauséjour?
Yes,
I wanted to go, but
yes. But
time did not permit.
It was fun. I think a lot of people had fun, and I think the day itself passed really nice. Haven't heard of any incidents, accidents, so that's a good thing. If that's a real good thing. Bearing in mind the amount of vehicles that will be on the road, people traveling.
Yeah, that's one of the things we were worried about yesterday when we were leaving Viewfort.
Great to see that it was a very successful year, and looking forward to next year.
Yeah.
Looking forward to next year. Yeah. But it's man versus woman. It's just about 13 minutes after the hour. Any questions? Did you see man do anything over the weekend?
Men are always doing things. It's not just over the weekend.
Puzzles you would like to get some clarification.
Not just over the weekend. Men are always doing things.
All right. So
this is one thing I want to know, right? Why is it that men think that a woman should get out of her bed in the mornings? It doesn't matter whether she came home late the night before or whatever.
Her day at work was.
Yes, she's to get up out of her bed in the morning and go into the kitchen to make him food. Why do men think that should happen, and why is it that they don't do it? I'm not saying that it's 100% men, but most men thinks that way. And if the woman don't do it, she's not a good woman.
I don't know if men really would, a man would really say you're not a good woman because you didn't get up and make breakfast.
Might be surprised to know. I've heard men say that all the time.
If that happens, I believe that man needs to check himself, really. But you know, there's some things that are associated with women doing, right? Like cooking, taking care of the home. You know, not that we won't help or we shouldn't get involved, but I mean, society has painted a picture of the woman being the house, the home, you know, taking care of the house. I'm trying to be very careful what I say.
You better be.
I'm trying to be very careful. That being said, there are times when we ought to, you know, do a role reversal, and I don't think it happens often enough, right? Where we take, you know, babes, stay in bed today, we'll get up and again, men are takers, and if you're going to do it, we'll be happy to receive it. Breakfast in bed, or get up and breakfast is ready. As to say that a man does, you know, we would do it, but it has to fall more under an occasion, a birthday, an anniversary, where you would actually find a man out of the blue get up and say, you know what, let me go and make breakfast for the not just the wife, but the family. There are some men who do that on a regular basis, mind you, where, especially on the weekends, they will get up, and when the family gets up, the man's daddy's in the kitchen already, cooking and. But that's when you have a relationship that operates like a well-oiled machine. Well,
let me tell you, I know you have men who do that, you know, right? But in most cases, it's the woman who has to do it. So let me ask this then. What about when they live alone? Because I don't understand. You, a woman, for you have to get up and make sure that your breakfast is ready and all of that. I'm sure that, you know, they've not lived with a woman all their life. Right. There is a time when you were living alone. So what does a man do at that point? Because it's obvious that you're relying on a woman to get up in the mornings and prepare you breakfast every morning.
And that's just the way society has carved it, eh? Me personally, as a man, whenever I'm single, living alone, I take better care of myself.
Boy, that means some men need to be single, man.
No, but for real, I find I'm more particular. But when you know that there's somebody who's going to do it, you kind of put down, you drop the ball a bit more.
The person.
Not laying the burden. I mean, I don't think it's a burden. It should never be looked at. Taking care of your family.
No, it's not. It's not a matter of.
Taking care of your family in whatever way.
Yes, I understand
should
that.
Not be looked at as a burden.
I understand that, but men make it a burden.
No, it's not a burden.
When it's not a burden. Grumble, you know, it's not a burden. But men make it a burden.
We know that we can't make the cocoa-tea good
the way that she
can. We know we can't make the bake the way that she'll make the bake.
That's the excuse.
You know, so I mean, why fight with it if you know you can't do it? I believe that.
Nice comeback still.
No, but you know, it's already been planted in our minds that when it comes to the food and taking care of the home, the woman, no matter how much hours
how about if the woman feel the same way, like, boy, I can't make the cocoa-tea the way that he makes it, you know, I like the way he makes it. It should be communicated. I mean, you still want the woman to get up and...
If you're in a relationship with someone and both of you are, you know, inclined in the kitchen, right? You can cook. It should be shared. It should be shared. From time to time, you're gonna find daddy say, "Well, here, guess what? You know, today I got this, right?"
Can I tell you? When I was married,
I hardly ever. Stories.
Oh please, I hardly ever cooked.
Your husband cooked for you all the time?
I taught my husband how to cook, and that was it.
That was it.
If I go in the kitchen to prepare food, before I considered myself blessed.
Consider yourself lucky. Then you shouldn't have left him.
Because of that? Because he can cook.
Now that you taught him to cook. Now that you taught him to cook, another woman is going to benefit.
That's not a problem.
Another woman's going to benefit from your hard work.
That's not a problem. I don't have a problem with that.
The thing about it is that, you know, there are certain things that are associated with women and certain things that are associated with... I mean, even though you might have a wife who can go out and cut the grass, do you really expect her to do it?
Well, a lot of men do.
Well, expect her to do it? Or she does with all mind?
A lot of men do.
I don't think so.
You would be surprised to know. You see, you need to get out into the world more
Maybe that's why. Maybe I need to get into people's business.
You'd be
But
surprised to know.
On the most part.
Real men don't do that.
On
though.
the most part, though, there are certain things that are associated with the women in the relationship, and certain things that are associated with the men.
That's true.
Unfortunately, the way society has painted the picture is that the woman's work is never done. She will have a full-time job, but when she comes home, she starts the second shift of her other full-time job.
Society is
right?
unfair.
Whereas a man can go to work and come home, especially if he's a good provider, and just kick back.
Well, listen.
Women don't have that option.
I don't have a problem with a man being a good provider and coming home and just kick back. I'll take care of him. I'll take a good care of him.
What if he's an average provider? He doesn't get to kick back as much?
No, you have to work your ass off. What's wrong with you? Sorry.
So fellas, y'all hearing that, right?
On air.
Y'all hearing that, right?
No, but listen. When you say average provider, you mean...
I mean, he's there, you know...
I don't see nothing as no average provider. I don't see no average provider. As long as you're providing...
No, but there's some men who, based on their upbringing and education and all that, they can actually bring more to the table than others.
I know. That's why I said I don't think there's really any average provider. You're providing for your family. That's a good thing.
Sometimes it's not enough.
Well, if it's not enough, then you have to make do with what you have.
And I'm not just talking physically providing. I'm talking spiritually and emotionally providing.
Well, that's where both of you have to work something out. Yeah.
All right. I got you. 20 minutes after the hour.
20 minutes already?
Yeah. Do you want to go into our situation now, or you got another question for me?
You like when I ask you questions, E? You like to get beat up?
But that's the thing. I mean, man versus woman.
That's what
we do.
You like to get beat up.
Yes. You got anything else in the bag?
Yeah.
What else do you have there for me?
Why do men find it so easy to lie to women? In terms of...
You know, I could answer that question and get killed. I could answer
Go
that
ahead,
question.
man. Answer the question.
I could answer that question and get...
you asked for it. So
if you want to look at it from, you know, a liar's perspective or bad relationship perspective, a lot of times women tend to brand men. You know, y'all have this whole saying, all men are alike. Right?
Not this woman.
Women...
I don't think so.
Women tend to like to make men a part of the numbers, the statistics. We don't see guys on an individual basis. Very rare. From the time a man make a mistake, is I tell you already, I warn you about them men. Yeah. That's what your best friend's gonna tell you. Right? Or a man might like nice things, he's well dressed. I look like a player. Look like one of them. When it comes to men, women like to put us in a group.
Okay.
They never actually treat us for who we are on an individual basis. It's always y'all the same.
Okay.
So guess what? All right. There's a lot of men out there who feel that, and let me just put this out first. Guys, if she asks you about it, it's because she already have the answer. That's where we go. That's where we just go wrong. If she tell you, hey, last week there, when you call and say that you and your brother was...
You make sure warn them. Let them know.
Yeah. When you call me and tell me when your brother was going to visit your uncle in the hospital. How was he? She already know you didn't go by no hospital. And that's what we just feel. Right? Because we always looking for the right answer to give you.
Oh, God.
And the right answer isn't always the right answer. All right?
Yep.
And that's the thing. When you talk about men lying, when you have men who realize that the woman they have is a solid woman and she's always, mentally and physically prepared, you have no problem telling her the truth.
And that should be the case.
That should be the case.
Yeah.
But too often, even when we do tell the truth, women say we're lying. And it becomes a culture. So what happens is, if I tell her the truth, she's going to say a lie. So let me just tell her a lie because that might sound better. And we look for the prettiest one to give you.
But the thing about it is, right? What would you prefer? To tell a lie and things remain fake, or to tell the truth and see the real woman, right, whether and that's the misconception. She's worth keeping or not.
That's the misconception that we all have, both men and women, right? If I tell you a lie and I figure, well, you believe me and everything will be good. You know what I mean? As opposed to telling you the truth, get you upset for a little while. You know, stress me out a little while.
When somebody loves you,
things will be good.
When somebody loves you, we
always try to avoid.
They try to work things out with a lie.
But we always try to avoid confrontation, especially if you're with a woman who's very confrontational. She's gonna get lied to a lot.
Yeah.
Women that are like passive women, fellas telling the truth because they know they're not gonna blow it out of the water. If they get mad, even if it bothers them, they're not going to hold on to it for a whole week. Don't talk to me for a week. Don't cook my food or iron anything or do anything with me for a week. There's an issue. You ask the question. I tell you the truth.
Yeah.
Whether you like it or not,
we work it out and we move on.
Women don't do that though.
I used to tell my little girl, don't lie to me. If you lie to me, what you're automatically going to do is cause me not to trust you. Right. And so even when you're telling me the truth, I'm going to doubt.
That is what. So
don't lie.
That is a sacrifice that we make when we decide that two things. When a man does something and his woman inquires about it, we weigh two things. One, the trust part of it, and the quarrel. Right. So we make a decision. I'm going to lie to you, knowing that if you find out, it's going to add some trust issues to it. Yeah. Because guess what? I don't want to hear the quarrel. So the sacrifice is usually a big one that we make.
But the moment you begin to lie to somebody, you find that you begin to break down the trust that is there between you. A lie
is only a lie until
you know the truth. Okay, sorry, I hear you. But Asylum, you know what I was expecting though? I wasn't expecting you to, give me that nice little explanation that you did. I was expecting you to say, but women
No, well, you see, the question was, why do men lie?
Yeah, no, I can. Don't go there. Let us continue. I should not have sent you down that road.
No, I was actually going to get to that because normally you're right. And normally I would say, well, women lie too. So yeah, women do. Why do women lie?
For various reasons, I guess. I can say that a woman would lie if she's not sure about what she's in. A woman lie. I think a woman would lie in a relationship just to get away with stuff. I don't see a reason for a woman to lie to her man. It must be to get away with something. That's all. Again,
that's creating trust issues too.
Exactly.
Right? And why would you feel the need to lie to get away with something?
With the same reason why you just said men. You think it's only women alone like to blow steam. Men blow steam too.
We don't carry things like women do.
What?
Guys would say what they have to say, blow up in the worst way, say what they have to say, and then they're done. They're not gonna hold
Asylum, you. Are you serious right now? Asylum.
When it comes to quarrels, I think a woman could actually stay mad at the husband or partner longer than a man.
Asylum, you might be surprised to know what some men are. You need to. I tell you, you need to go out there.
I'm not saying that there isn't, but it's a small number. On the most part, we're like, okay, be done with it. Yeah, you're done. Yeah. All right, let's get back to business.
Really now.
Especially when nighttime comes.
Really
we don't like to hold arguments.
Especially when nighttime comes, they would prefer to leave the woman and go find another woman out there to do whatever nighttime brings, and then come back home.
Those are boys. But then
you have some men when they and them have an argument, boy, they hold that against you worse than a woman.
A very small number, and I must say. Well, but I think women stay vexed longer than men do.
Well, not this woman.
No.
I'll get upset over something. I'll get upset over something, and then by later.
Like I keep saying that you're different than a lot of other women. I don't know how you represent.
Listen, there's a lot of women like that. I know a lot of women like that. Why you want to hold on to? And the funny thing about it,
Jamaican women like to quarrel. Hey, wait. Jamaican women like to quarrel.
What are you talking about, Jamaican
but
women?
it's true.
I hate when people do that.
True. But I am telling you, I've been around
a lot of Jamaican women.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm not going to say you're wrong. You have a lot of them that likes to quarrel for true. That's true.
And like always be out of the ordinary quarrel. You like make it big. Yes.
I know exactly what you mean. I guess maybe it's because of you see, I think that the way a person is has a lot to do with the way they were socialized, the way they were cultured by their parents, yes, and the community that they're from.
Right.
You understand? Well, it doesn't have to be from it doesn't have to be the community that they're from too, because I've seen girls grow up in some real serious communities and they don't represent their community in that form.
Right.
You understand? So it depends on how your parents socialized you, how you grew up.
How you grew up.
Yeah.
The community in which you grew up in. We got a call. Let's take this call. Hitz FM, good morning, you're live.
Just giving you all a little greetings morning, eh?
Good morning.
All right, Red Man, how you doing?
I'm there holding on, man. The body tired yesterday. I went out.
You took part in some of the festivities, eh?
Yeah, man. Just eat some nice fish tea yesterday and water.
All right.
That's the only thing. Morning, Jam Lucian.
Jam Lucian, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I give you a new name, man. Jam
Yeah,
Lucian.
but I want to tell you, I've had that name for the longest while. I hold it tight to you, know.
Yeah, man. That's right, man. Always lock on to 91.1 and
nice.
always lock on to channel 115.
Nice. Love to hear that.
Yeah, you loud. You hear you all loud and clean down south.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right, Lion.
Keep the fire burning.
Keep it burning.
Definitely.
One love, Rasta.
All right.
Alright.
Yes, big up yourself, Red Man and the family. Macheka, good morning to you. The whole thing is that when it comes to men and women, I think, one of the things that we tend to do is sort of not in relationships. We ought to be more specific in the sense that your husband does something, don't say all men, or you just like the others.
But you see, that's what they
that's one of my biggest.
But that's what
pet
they're.
peeves.
But all right.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves.
That's what they're open to, and then you have the fact that you have a lot of women who are not really open-minded, right? They're in a box, right? So they see things one way.
What kind of box they in?
Asylum. True. So they just see things one way. So if this man does something, he represents all men. Right. Right? So they just see one way. Now, you're saying that, don't categorize. But you have to see with these women, because that's how they were socialized. That's unless that innate behavior changes, there's nothing that you can do for that woman.
Every person is an individual. Everyone has their own personality, their own way of doing things, their own way of thinking.
Yeah,
right?
But some people don't see that way.
And to always be, and I think for most men, that is like one of the worst things that a woman can do to him or say to him.
Yeah.
You're just like the others.
Like the others. You're not different.
No matter how.
And it's not just women, it's not just men, women too. If a man says to a woman, you just like them and a woman. No, I don't think any human being likes to be placed in that kind of category. You don't categorize people like that.
All right. That was our first half of the show this morning. We just sort of asked a few questions. We do have a situation this morning. All right. You want to do the honors?
Like I don't always do.
Yes.
Let me go.
Woman first. You see, when you're supposed to go first, you're complaining.
You see, when you're to put us first, you're not doing it.
I am always putting women first.
Yes.
That's my problem right there.
That's your problem?
Yeah.
Putting a woman first is your problem?
Yeah, it has been.
Okay. All right. I think I'll try to understand that
I didn't
later.
say that was a bad thing, yeah.
Let's go. Good day. I am at a crossroad right now and in a complicated situation. I have been with a man for 2.5 years now, but he has been married for 8 years. His wife lives in another country ever since they got married, and she hardly ever visits him. Interesting. Okay. He cannot visit her because he doesn't have papers. I honestly think she is having an affair, but I did not mention that to him. I think he suspects it because he doesn't say anything about it. He says that he loves me, and I truly believe him because of the way he treats me. He takes good care of me financially, even though I have a good paying job. He treats me like a lady, and he is very... Whoa, what just happened there? Technology. Let me go again. He treats me like a lady, and he is very protective of me. Last year, he bought a house in my name. Wait. And started a new business in my name. What? He tells me all the time that he loves me and wants to marry me. He even says... Hold on, Asylum. Give me a second there. Let me just see what's going on with this thing.
Says he wants me to have a child.
Continue, yes.
Says he wants me to have a child for him when we get married. However, in spite of all this, I am concerned that his wife will come home one day and will end the relationship, and that will end the relationship between us, because I will not continue if his wife is with him. I also my biological clock is ticking, and I don't know how long this divorce will take. I don't want, when I get married to him, I can't give him a child because he doesn't have none. He doesn't have one. Okay, sorry. Please give me a sincere advice. Well,
this one is interesting.
Yeah,
very
it
interesting.
is, and you know what? It's very simple too. I mean, I could really wrap this up in 2 seconds if I had to.
Wrap it up, man. Wrap it up. Let me hear you.
The man. You know, sometimes we do things, and they don't turn out the way we want them, which includes marriages. People get married, and shortly after getting married, they realize, why did I do this? Right? And I'm sensing that this is the case, because you're saying that the wife is overseas. The man is with you, right? He's obviously investing in you, in a future with you, because there's no man in their right mind going to buy a house, put it in your name if he wasn't serious about you, and start a business in your name if he wasn't serious about you.
That's what I was thinking too.
Right? So it's very simple. Maybe he's just a victim of his past, in the sense that he got married to this person, and maybe that's just it. I could be wrong, but I'm sensing that he is making significant investment in you as a person. As far as children are concerned, there are people who are blessed with children and people who are not. And I find that, especially with men, the older they go without having a child, is the less likely they would want to have.
You think so?
Yeah.
Really?
If you find a man who, in his late 30s, that doesn't have any children, chances are it's like that because he doesn't want any. Mind you, he might find a person down the road and get married, and that would change the game. That would change.
I always thought that men want a child. They always want a child, especially a boy to carry on their name.
There could be underlying reasons too for not having a child. Just like there's women who aren't able to have children, there are men who are unable to get women pregnant for various different reasons. I mean, it could be a health reason. They can just made that decision that I don't want any children. There are people now who are saying that, look, I don't want any children. In this day and age.
But I was looking at this, right, and I understand, and I believe that he's investing in her, so that would tell you that he's really, serious about the relationship.
When a man starts investing like that in a woman, one of the things that is very, very, very prevalent in that relationship is trust.
Yeah.
Trust.
Yep.
Right? So, my girl, I think you have everything going for you. I don't think you need to worry about the wife.
You think so? Because, all right, listen.
Look,
she just said, right? What if his wife decide to come back? Right? I'm sure he's not just going to brush his wife off or...
But it doesn't seem to me that there's a relationship between him and his wife, like a marriage there. You live in another country. The man, you don't come home, right? The man can't come where you are. Then all of this is paperwork. It's just a piece of paper. I don't see a marriage there.
You think so?
I mean, how long do you think a man or a woman can go?
But even if
apart from each other without becoming, or getting to the point where you will end up being with somebody else.
Well, that's true. But don't you think they correspond over the phone? The technology is such that you can even see the person. You can video chat and stuff like that.
Fine, all of that is possible. But again, if he is making the strides in which he's making, he's invested in you, he's investing in you, and all of that, it simply tells me that he values.
Yeah, but what if the investment? What if the investment is just to hold her in position?
A house.
Yeah.
A business.
He probably have money.
I think there's more.
It sounds like he have money.
Even if he does. No man goes out and buys and builds a house for his let's say Jabal in this case. All right? Just because he has money.
All right. What if it was different? What if what would your advice be to her if he never made this kind of investment? Meaning he never bought her that house, he never bought her that what's
then I would say that maybe she has reasons for concern. Right? I believe that what he is doing here is showing her that, look, I'm there for you. Yes, I'm in this situation, right? But I'm there for you. I believe that you are worthy of these things because I can afford it. So I'm actually sharing what I have with you. He's also putting her in a very comfortable position. I mean, I don't know what her living situation was before. Maybe it was, she came from a poor family and he decides that, look, this woman is good
but
to me.
she says that she's in a good paying job. And but he says she also says that even though she has a good paying job, he still takes care of her financially.
And that again goes to show that the man is comfortable knowing that one day you're going to be that woman. So he's starting to show you that now. He's not waiting until after the divorce, which to me isn't even worth talking about, because guess what? The woman that he's married to is not even in the country. And should she return, I think if you invest, equally, and when I say equally, I don't mean in terms of property and all that, in this relationship, that when she comes, she wouldn't be a factor.
As I said to you, it can be a way of holding on to her, because what if he's one of that type of man who, right, feels secure knowing that he has two women, right? So he's still corresponding with his wife, and the wife. What, as she said, what if the wife should come back?
There's
he's going to have to be going between both of them. How do you think she is going to? I think that's her concern.
There's a saying that I've heard before, and I always used to frown when I hear women say that. But I'm gonna tell her this morning that this should be her slogan. She got the ring, you got the man.
Oh, what the hell?
No, I mean she can hold on to that. I can actually tell her that. Coming from her, I would say yes. Go ahead and use it. She got the ring. You have the man. You ever heard that one?
God knows why he made you a man.
Yes. You never heard that one?
Really?
So the wife has the ring and you have the man, and that's clearly what I see here. I see the man. I see the man saying, "Look, I'm in a situation. My wife is overseas, but in the meantime, I'm here. Let me take care of you."
Well, if you think so.
That's what I think.
I would still be careful.
She ought to just focus on building a relationship, because clearly, I personally, unless you go overseas to study to come back to better yourself, I cannot understand for the likes of me how a husband or a wife can just leave their significant other behind and move to another country and expect that everything will be the same.
For me, I don't think I could do it, because let me tell you, I'm the type of woman that when I love hard. So if I'm going to fall in love with somebody and I cannot be with them, that don't make no sense for me, right? So for me, this would not work if I'm going to have a husband and I'm how many miles away from him, especially for so long. I don't know. I don't think I could deal with that.
I mean, at the end of the day, you have to think of your relationship.
Yeah.
And it has to have some significance to you, for you to decide that, staying at home with your husband and building a life there together.
Yeah.
Has to be more important than living overseas.
Than anything else.
Again, some of the times when people leave here to go overseas, the better roses that we think that they're picking flowers from isn't so. And a majority of them are usually better off at home.
Yes.
Better off at home.
True.
So more so if you have a husband, you leave here, you might not have everything great, but as we always say, this is home.
Exactly.
I'd rather suffer in my own country than to suffer in somebody else's country.
That is so true.
Right? So when you leave and you go overseas, if things isn't to the point where you're actually doing good enough to support or to help and help the relationship go to that next level, then why stay overseas?
It's best you just stay together and work. Try to see how best you could work things out together.
If this man, right, is able to buy a house for his outside woman or his woman on the side, right, and put a business in her name, it simply means that he doesn't have a problem taking care of his wife. So why is the wife still overseas? Exactly. So why is the wife overseas?
Listen to this part of it. She says that she suspects
that the wife has somebody.
Yes.
So exactly.
And she says that she thinks that the man thinks so too, but he's just not saying anything.
And maybe he's not saying anything because he doesn't care. He's in a relationship with you. He's obviously doing significant things for you to let you see that he's there for you. Yeah. So maybe that should be your focus. I don't think that you should worry about what the wife doing out there. You there, you make sure you do what you need to do.
What you need to do. That's
so when
true.
she does, if and when she comes home, and it's her problem. That's her problem. Too many times we find ourselves in these type of situations where we're second guessing ourselves. Whether you are outside or inside, you have to do your best to keep your relationship and to make it something extraordinary.
That's right.
Right? When people leave and go overseas, I keep saying, if you don't go over there to try to better yourself, what's the point?
It makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Sometimes we leave our green grass on this side thinking the grass greener over there.
And when you go over there, the grass brown.
There's no grass at all.
Where do you see?
And by the time you catch yourself 1, 2, 3 years past and the relationship that you left behind, the home and family you left behind has deteriorated, because guess what? You weren't able to service it the way that you should have been. And people make decisions, people's minds change, their feelings towards each other change, and they move on.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a clear-cut situation. I think that the marriage has broken down. Because no wife in the right mind will leave your husband behind and go overseas, knowing that he's capable of taking care of her.
Come to think of it,
or taking care of his household.
I know of a couple. They're old now. I know of a couple in Jamaica, right? They're Christians, and both of them decided to go on vacation one year. Her family, the wife's family, lives in the States. And they decided that, they're going to take a vacation. And they went up together. They came back down together. And then the wife decided to take a trip again. She called him and told him, oh, she don't think she wants to come back to Jamaica right now. She's going to try and get a job and, you know. And then she back and forth. And she's been living there for over 30 odd years. They're old people now. And they have a house in Jamaica and everything. Their children grew up and but the woman refused to come back to live in Jamaica, and he refused to live in the States because he doesn't like the States.
But
so
in that case, that's a decision that both of them are making.
Well, that's
right?
true.
And as you said, they're older people now, so it really doesn't necessarily mean that she has somebody or he has somebody.
Yeah, I know that.
You understand?
But, I'm looking at the relationship part of things where
some people are able to do it. Some people are able to juggle long distance relationships, you know, and there are people who would tell you that long distance relationships don't work, and there are people who would magnify, glorify it. What I do know though is, as human beings, it's very rare that you'll find people they'll find discipline enough to be in a long distance relationship and stay faithful to each other.
Yeah. Yep.
Very, 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 very rare. I think that when you add the fact that, you know, we are all human beings, and you know, people get lonely, people get tired of being alone, people get tired of the phone calls and all that. And this is a situation where she doesn't come home much. He's not able to go where she is. How do you consider that a relationship? I'm wondering. Because it's more than just a phone call. Hey, how you doing? How was your day? How was your week? How was your month?
Yeah, relationship is more than that.
You know, and when certain parts of the relationship aren't being met, then people look elsewhere for that fulfillment.
Once there is no physical contact, it's hard to keep the relationship, you know, blooming.
Right.
I don't
So you would agree with me? Physical contact is very important.
It's extremely important.
And the same goes for people who live together.
It's extremely
when
important.
You have one party that, let's say, for instance, turns their back on the other one on a nightly basis, because that's how they feel comfortable sleeping. That's the excuse, right?
But you can't stay hugging for the whole night while you sleep.
Some people can.
Okay, well, I can't, because I have this thing where if I'm into too much of a closed, yes.
Right. That's understandable.
I'll hug for a while.
But if it's something that developed halfway through a relationship, then there's something wrong.
Yes, definitely.
Something wrong.
Definitely.
You know, but nevertheless, I do want to appeal to this young lady too. I mean, I think everything is in your favor. I honestly, when I look at this whole picture,
she blessed, as I said to you.
I think everything is in your favor. What you need to do is just focus on who you are, what you're about, and where you want to be with this relationship. I get a sense that the gentleman in this situation does love and care about you. Otherwise, and he does trust you, he wouldn't be making the bold moves that he have been. So you need to just sort of go with the flow. Go with the flow. And, you know, do what you have to do to keep your relationship and grow it. Because it seems like he's more interested in having a relationship with you, whether he's married or not. And I believe that, you know, people do things in life. Sometimes even our situations, our family, our churches forces us to do things that we don't necessarily want to do. And then when we catch ourselves and we're able to correct it, sometimes it's a little too late. You know, we might find the right person, but guess what? We're married to the wrong person.
That was the case with me.
You know. So you think you were married to the wrong person?
I don't think I was married to the wrong person. I know I was married to the wrong person because I had just given my life to the Lord and decided that all right, so they're saying you have a boyfriend, so you have to drop him or get married to him because you can't, like, you know, the old time Pentecostal kind of thing. So we decided to get married. My parents were against it. His parents were against it. But
does it make a difference when you decide that, look, this is what I'm going to do, and then your family says, no, we don't want to be part of this?
It matters if you look at the reasons why.
Were they even at the wedding?
Nope.
Okay.
Neither side was. Well, let me tell you, we had planned a private wedding, but the pastor and a few of the members of the church, they did a surprise reception for us. The persons were at the church when I got there. So they, invited a few persons.
So they did everything for you. The church that handled everything.
Basically.
Is that a wrong? Is that a bad practice? I mean, a lot of churches do it.
Yes.
Is it
I believe it is. For most part, I spent the money to buy the rings, get the dress, and even his suit, everything.
So
somebody once told me, but the man didn't marry to you, man. You married him.
Well, it's true. That's what it sounds like to me.
So, when I got to the church, my two sisters were the only family members that I had at my wedding. Nobody else came. Nobody came for him. So you see that we started off on the wrong footing right there.
Right now.
Yeah.
Should that have sent a smoke signal to you? Or?
Nah, I was in love.
And you were in love so much.
My mother.
Someone says, "Good morning, Susie Q."
Morning. To you.
So that means that you should have paid attention to some of the...
Yeah, there were a lot of red flags going up. My mother pointed them out, and I said to her, "So what? So what about the love?" My mother looked at me and said, "Love can't put food on the table."
She's right.
I'll never forget that. But when you're young and you don't have nobody to guide you, and stuff like that, and you feel like you're in love and there's nobody in the world like this person, and you have to be careful of these things.
All right.
To be very mindful of these things.
All right. Boy, it's one of those things. Would you ever get married again?
Yes, why not?
Okay.
As long as I told you, that was a bad decision.
But then women always say all men are the same. So I mean,
No. That's not true.
Okay.
That is not true. There's some lovely men out there. I know that is not true.
All right.
That's not true. I've had friends who by the way, most of my friends are male. Right? That's just me.
Right.
And they are wonderful men.
Right.
So I don't believe that all men are the same. That's not true.
All right, we've got about 5 minutes to go. So, in closing, what would you suggest to our writer?
All right. So, for me, I strongly believe that she got it going on, but at the same time, could it be that what he's doing is just to hold her in,
For what reason?
Hold her, he wants to be with her, but he's married, he wants his wife. Period. The woman, that's the woman on the side.
There that suggests that he wants his wife. Because, I mean, obviously if he's financially secure enough to build a house for her and put a business in her name, right? He can take care of his wife. So I don't see the point in his wife being overseas.
No, I don't see the point in her being overseas, But what if he's in love with he's still in love with his wife, right? Which means he would not be willing to let her go that easy, right? Because he's still in love with her. What if he's still in love with her? But at the same time, he doesn't want to let go this woman because she's with him, right? Here, or wherever the person is that wrote the letter. And this is the woman that he has here. All right. So he says, okay, let me put you there on that shelf. You stay there. You're mine. So you have an ornament on your dresser. Every day you're going to brush it down, wipe it down, make sure that it stays clean. But you still have other ornaments. You're not going to throw away the other ornaments. You have you have one that you're taking care of just the same. So I think that's what is happening with her right now. He doesn't want to let her go. So he has to find a way to hold on to her. He has to find a way to make her stay. So it can be that. I'm not saying that's definitely it, but you still have to be careful.
I don't see anything here that suggests that there's a relationship between the husband and his wife. I mean, maybe yes, she's overseas and they call, but again, why be overseas? Unless it's school or something like of the sort. You're in another man's country, or you're overseas and your husband's here in St. Lucia, and he obviously can provide for you. Right? Why not be with him?
Yeah, why?
Right?
But
why not be with him? When you choose to go overseas, you choose to leave that door open for him to be with somebody else.
I agree with you.
Even if it's not in a relationship, at least you're leaving that door open.
I agree.
Right?
But at the same time, we're talking about this woman here. She's the one that I'm concerned about. The wife can do whatever she wants, because that's just stupid. You just leave your husband and you gone overseas to live, and as you said, you open a door right there, leaving the door open.
No,
but
now that the door has been left open and our dear writer has walked into that door, I am going to tell her it's all fair in love and game. Obviously, he is showing that he trusts and cares about your well-being, because he's providing for you. You talk about, even though you're in a well-paying job, he still takes care of you as a man, right?
That's a man.
And I believe that the ball is really in your court, and the opponent isn't really much into the game. Is not playing.
Well,
so try to win this one.
Well, she can try to win the game.
When she comes back, she'll come back to the reality. You leave your husband behind and go overseas, somebody is going to take him.
Just so it's
yes. Somebody is going to take him. Now, if it's a situation where they planned it and say, okay, well, you know what, it's easier for you to go out and get started and then come help me, and then we'll try to build. But clearly it doesn't seem that way, because the man he can afford to take care. Even if you're at home and not working, he could take care of you. So why not be with your husband?
So you're saying that it would be okay then if she went overseas to help to make
things better for them. Yeah,
it would be.
It's okay, because then we have a mutual understanding. This is what we want for our future. So we will defend that, with all our might.
All right. So in a case like that, and he gets involved with, let's say this was the case with this woman.
Let's not put it past the fact that she might be involved with somebody too, because
but
so again, all of the signals here is in our writer's favor.
Yeah, because why would you want to stay overseas, not come see your husband if you're not involved with somebody else? That just don't make sense.
Or make preparation for him to come to see you.
That don't make sense.
I believe that.
I wonder if this woman, this wife though, is the same nationality as he is.
Yes, that we don't know. But we're out of time.
Really?
So, my lady, everything is in your hands. I think that you need to decide on which way you want to move forward with this. I see a really good relationship. I mean, he's taking care of you. You're there for him. He's there for you. He's helping you grow as a person. And now you have a business in your name. You have a home in your name. Even though you probably can do these things. You got it good. So take advantage of it, and to make sure. When I say take advantage, I don't mean to take and don't give back. I think that all fair in love and war here. So have yourself a wonderful one, and I do hope that you can look past all of this. Take care of that man. That man is taking care of you.
Right.
That's what I would say. All right. Once again, St. Lucia, I want to thank you very much for spending the hour with us. You can join us tomorrow, same place, same time, man versus woman. Myself, Asylum, alongside Susie Q.
Say that again.
Susie Q.
All right.
You like when I say it that way, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Sound good.
Have yourselves a wonderful day, St. Lucia.